Hey there, stop for a moment. Just stop. Have you ever had that quiet feeling, maybe late at night, or when you're alone with your thoughts, and you wonder, who am I, really? Beyond the job titles, the roles you play, the face you show the world. What if I told you that understanding the answer to that question, truly getting to know the deepest parts of yourself, could unlock a completely new way of living? A life with more clarity, more confidence, and a genuine sense of peace. It's not about finding a simple label. It's about discovering the powerful, unique individual you already are. Today, we're going on a journey to explore exactly that. We're going to look at some powerful methods for deep self-knowledge, methods that can help you understand your core and live a life that truly feels like yours. This isn't just another self-help talk. This is about giving you practical ways to connect with your authentic self. So, if you're ready to move beyond the surface, stick around. You might be surprised by what you discover. We all wear masks, don't we? The capable employee, a supportive friend, a fun-loving partner. And there's nothing wrong with adapting to different situations. But sometimes, those masks can get a little too comfortable, a little too stuck. We can lose touch with the person underneath. And that's where the real magic of self-knowledge and self-awareness comes in. It's about peeling back those layers, not to find flaws, but to find your truth. Why is this so important? Why spend time on this kind of self-awareness training for yourself? Well, the benefits of self-awareness are huge. Think about it. When you truly understand who you are, what you value, what your strengths are, even what your triggers and weaknesses might be, you start making better choices. Choices that are aligned with your core, not just what society expects or what you think you should do. This leads to more authentic relationships. You attract people who resonate with the real you, and you can show up more genuinely in your connections. It also brings a profound sense of self-acceptance. We all have parts of ourselves we're not thrilled about. But self-awareness psychology teaches us that understanding these parts, without harsh judgment, is the first step to growth, or simply accepting them as part of your unique makeup. This isn't about becoming perfect, it's about becoming whole. And ultimately, this journey of how to get to know yourself better leads to living a life that feels truly in alignment. Imagine waking up each day, feeling like you're on the right path, a path that energizes you because it's deeply connected to who you are. That's the power we're talking about. This kind of self-awareness and personal development is foundational. So how do we do it? How do we embark on this path of how to be more aware of yourself? It's not always easy, but it's incredibly rewarding. Let's explore some practical methods. First up, let's talk about values. Your core personal values are the principles that guide your life, the things that are fundamentally important to you. They're like your internal compass. When your actions align with your values, you feel a sense of purpose and satisfaction. When they don't, you might feel uneasy, stressed, or like something is just off. Learning how to find your personal values or how to identify personal values is a cornerstone of self-knowledge. Many people have never consciously sat down to think about how to identify their personal values. We might inherit some from our family, absorb others from our culture, but have we ever really questioned if they are our values? Here's a simple exercise you can do. Grab a piece of paper or open a new note on your phone. Start by brainstorming a list of things that are important to you. Don't filter yourself at this stage. It could be anything: honesty, creativity, security, adventure, family, learning, compassion, achievement, independence, community, health, growth. Think about times you felt really proud, fulfilled, or angry and frustrated. What values were being honored or violated in those moments? Once you have a long list, try to group similar ideas. Then see if you can narrow it down to your top 5 to 10 core values. This can be tough. You might find yourself thinking, but all of these are important, and they might be. But we're looking for the most important, the non-negotiables that define who you are and how you want to live. Consider these questions for each potential value. Is this truly my value, or is it something I feel I should value? Does this value show up consistently in my life when I'm at my best? Would I be willing to stand up to this value, even if it's difficult? Once you'd have your core list, write them down somewhere you can see them regularly. This isn't a one-time exercise. As you grow and change, your values might shift or evolve in their priority. Revisit this list from time to time. Understanding your values is a powerful step in how to improve your self-awareness. It gives you a framework for making decisions, big and small. When faced with a choice, ask yourself, which option aligns best with my core values? This simple question can bring so much clarity. This is a fundamental self-awareness exercise. Next, let's talk about honestly assessing your natural talents and areas for growth. This isn't about beating yourself up or puffing yourself up with false pride. It's about a clear, kind look at what you're good at and where you have room to develop. This is a key part of cognitive self-awareness. We all have strengths, those things that come naturally to us, that energize us, that we often do well without even trying too hard. Maybe you're a great listener, a creative problem solver, incredibly organized, or you have a knack for making people laugh. Identifying these strengths is empowering. It helps you understand where you can make your biggest impact and find the most joy. How do you find them? Think about activities where you feel in the flow. What are you doing? What do people compliment you on? What tasks do you genuinely enjoy and look forward to? What achievements are you most proud of? And what skills did you use? Sometimes our strengths are so natural to us that we don't even see them as strengths. We think, doesn't everyone do this? Often, the answer is no. What comes easily to you might be a real challenge for someone else. Many self-awareness activities for leaders focus heavily on identifying and leveraging strengths within a team. And the same principle applies to your personal life. Now let's talk about weaknesses, or as I prefer to call them, areas for growth. This isn't about dwelling on what you can't do. It's about recognizing areas where you might struggle, or where your current approach isn't serving you well. Maybe you procrastinate, struggle with public speaking, find it hard to say no, or tend to react emotionally in stressful situations. The key here is to approach this with curiosity and self-compassion, not judgment. Remember, this is about self-awareness and personal development. It's not a self-awareness test you pass or fail. Think about tasks you avoid or that drain your energy. Consider feedback you've received, even if it was hard to hear at the time. What patterns emerge? When do you feel most frustrated or ineffective? Understanding your areas for growth doesn't mean you have to become an expert in everything. Sometimes it's about finding strategies to manage those areas, or learning to ask for help, or simply accepting that this is a part of you that requires a bit more conscious effort. For example, if public speaking is a challenge, you might decide to take a course, or you might structure your career to minimize those situations. Both are valid responses, driven by self-awareness. This honest assessment is crucial for anyone in a leadership role, making self-awareness exercises for leaders so valuable. It's about knowing your toolkit, what's sharp and what might need some honing. Our lives are full of patterns, recurring thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and even the types of relationships we find ourselves in. Becoming a keen observer of these patterns is a powerful self-awareness method. It's like being a detective in your own life, looking for clues that reveal the underlying programming. Start by paying attention to your thoughts. What are the common narratives running through your head? Are they generally positive and empowering, or do they tend to be self-critical or fearful? Many of us have an inner critic that loves to point out our flaws. Becoming aware of this voice, recognizing it as just a pattern of thought rather than absolute truth, is a huge step. This is where practices like mindfulness for self-awareness can be incredibly helpful. Just noticing your thoughts without getting swept away by them. Then, observe your feelings. What emotions come up for you regularly? What situations trigger strong emotional responses? Do you tend to suppress certain feelings or get overwhelmed by others? Understanding your emotional landscape is key. For instance, if you consistently feel anxious before social events, That's a pattern. Once you see it, you can start to explore why it's there and what you might do about it. Next, look at your behaviors. What are your go-to reactions in certain situations? When we're stressed, do you withdraw or do you seek connection? Do you procrastinate on important tasks? Do you find yourself repeating the same mistakes in different contexts? These are judgments. They're just observations. The goal is to see the pattern so you can understand its roots, and if you choose, begin to shift it. Many self-awareness activities for students involve tracking behaviors to understand study habits or social interactions. The same applies to adults. Finally, observe patterns in your relationships. Do you tend to attract similar types of people? Do similar conflicts arise in different relationships? Are there recurring dynamics that leave you feeling unfulfilled or misunderstood? Our relationships are often mirrors, reflecting back to us our own patterns and beliefs. This process of observing patterns isn't about instant fixes. It's about gathering data. The more you observe, the more you'll start to see the connections. Maybe you notice that a critical thought pattern often leads to feelings of anxiety, which then leads to the behavior of avoiding challenging situations. Seeing that chain is the first step to breaking it. This is a deep form of self-knowledge. It's about understanding the why behind your what. This kind of pattern recognition is also something that self-awareness coaching often focuses on. One powerful way to enhance this observation is through journaling. Writing down your thoughts, feelings, and experiences can help you spot these recurring themes over time. It's like creating your own personal self-awareness questionnaire that you answer daily. You could also try a short self-awareness meditation each day, simply focusing on your breath and noticing what thoughts and sensations arise without judgment. Even a few minutes can make a difference. For those in high-performance fields, like athletes, mindfulness meditation for athletes is increasingly recognized for its ability to enhance focus and self-regulation, which is directly tied to mindfulness sport performance enhancement. And if you've experienced significant challenges or trauma, approaching this with extra care is important. Trauma-informed mindfulness or trauma-sensitive mindfulness. You might find a helpful trauma-sensitive mindfulness PDF online with guidance, emphasizes safety, choice, and a gentle pace. If observing certain patterns brings up overwhelming emotions, it's always okay to pause, seek support, or work with a professional who understands these dynamics. While the methods we've discussed, values clarification, strengths-weaknesses assessment, and pattern observation, are incredibly powerful on their own, sometimes structured tools and frameworks can provide additional insight or a different lens through which to understand ourselves. You might have heard of personality assessments like the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI, the Enneagram, or Strengths Finder, now Clifton Strengths. These aren't definitive labels of who you are, but they can offer a language and a framework for understanding your preferences, motivations, and natural talents. The key is to use them as tools for reflection, not as rigid boxes. They can be great self-awareness exercises. For example, understanding your Myers-Briggs type might help you see why you prefer certain work environments or communication styles. Learning your Enneagram type can offer deep insights into your core fears and motivations, and the patterns that arise from them. These can be very useful in self-awareness training for employees to improve teamwork and communication, and equally useful for personal growth. Beyond personality tests, there are other conceptual frameworks. You might explore archetypes, universal patterns of behavior and imagery, like the hero, the sage, the innocent. Seeing which archetypes resonate with you can reveal deeper aspects of your psyche and your life's journey. Then there are specific models used in coaching or therapy. For instance, the MAC model, often referring to motivation, ability, confidence, or similar constructs depending on the specific framework, can help you break down why you might be struggling to achieve a goal. Is it a lack of motivation? Do you need to develop a certain skill, ability? Or is it a lack of belief in yourself, confidence? The matrix, often referring to the ACT matrix in acceptance and commitment therapy, is a tool that helps you become more aware of your inner experiences, thoughts, feelings, sensations, and your outward behaviors, and how they move you towards or away from your values and what's important to you. It's a very practical way to increase cognitive self-awareness and make more conscious choices. The point of mentioning these tools isn't to say you must use them, but to highlight that there are many pathways to self-knowledge. They can offer shortcuts or structured ways to explore aspects of yourself you might not have considered. If you're interested, do some research, find what resonates, and approach it with an open, curious mind. Many self-awareness activities for adults incorporate elements from these frameworks. The goal is always deeper understanding, not just collecting labels. Remember, the definition of self-awareness in psychology often points to the capacity for introspection and the ability to recognize oneself as an individual separate from the environment and other individuals. These tools can help hone that capacity. So we've talked about clarifying your values, understanding your strengths and weaknesses, observing your patterns, and even using some structured tools. What's the big takeaway? A journey of how to get to know yourself better is not a destination you arrive at one day and say, okay, done. It's an ongoing process, a lifelong exploration. You are a dynamic, evolving being. What you learn about yourself today will serve as a foundation for who you become tomorrow. The benefits of self-awareness ripple out into every area of your life. It improves your relationships because you can communicate your needs and boundaries more clearly, and you can understand others with more empathy. It enhances your career because you can choose paths that align with your talents and values, leading to more fulfillment and success. This is why self-awareness for leadership is such a critical topic. Leaders who know themselves are better equipped to lead others authentically and effectively. It boosts your well-being because you learn to treat yourself with more kindness and compassion. You become better at managing stress, making healthier choices, and navigating life's inevitable challenges. Simple self-awareness tips like taking a few moments each day for reflection or practicing mindfulness for self-awareness can have a profound impact over time. Think of self-awareness methods not as chores, but as acts of self-investment. Every bit of insight you gain is a gift to yourself, whether it's through quiet reflection, journaling, conversations with trusted friends, or even self-awareness games for students, which often have principles applicable to adults. The goal is to keep that curiosity alive. Don't be afraid of what you might find. We all have a shadow side, aspects of ourselves that we're not proud of. But self-knowledge isn't about shining a harsh spotlight on your flaws to shame yourself. It's about bringing gentle awareness to all parts of yourself, understanding their origins, and learning how to integrate them in a healthy way. This is where the self-awareness definition truly comes alive. It's an awareness that leads to integration and wholeness. Getting to know yourself truly, deeply, is one of the most rewarding adventures you can embark on. It's the foundation for a life lived with purpose, authenticity, and joy. The methods we've discussed today, clarifying your values, understanding your strengths and areas for growth, observing your patterns, and using insightful tools, are powerful starting points. This journey of self-awareness and personal development is ongoing. It requires patience, honesty, and a willingness to be curious. But the rewards, a deeper connection to yourself, more meaningful relationships, and a life that truly reflects who you are immeasurable. If you're ready to take this journey of self-discovery even further, to really dive deep with structured guidance and support, I invite you to check out our course. We go into much more detail on these methods, provide additional exercises and resources, and offer a community to support you along the way. You'll find the link in the description below. It's an investment in the most important relationship you'll ever have, the one with yourself. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope this has given you some valuable insights and practical steps you can start using right away to uncover more about the amazing person you are. Remember, the answer to who are you really is waiting to be discovered. And it's a beautiful discovery to make. Don't forget to explore. Don't forget to be curious. And don't forget to be kind to yourself on the journey. Until next time.